Back at it again. All right, seeing the place to be. Rick Saratella here for another edition of the All Access Football NFL Draftcast live stream show. Come on in, bring a friend, buckle up, strap on down, and we're going to break it all down just like we did last night, but a little bit more in-depth. If you've been tuning in all week long on the Sports Rage Sirius XM Channel 159, shout out to my good friend Gabriel Morenci. We've been covering the NFL draft year-round over there for several years, but we're back here no longer with the Edmonton Elks. No, we are all in with All Access Football. Starting next week, in fact, our weekly live shows I'll be joined by our guy, Brian Baldinger from NFL Network. We'll be down on location next week at the Reese's Mobile Senior Bowl. Are you going to be down there in Mobile? Please come say hello. The first thing every Uber driver always tells you, by the way, Mobile is home to the original Mardi Gras. That's coming as soon as you get off the airport and your Uber driver picks you up and you say, where you going? Oh, you're in town for the Senior Bowl. Mobile's home to the original Mardi Gras. So we'll be making that trip. In fact, we'll be stopping in New Orleans where all the great Mardi Gras action is going on. And that's because we'll be coming from the East-West Shrine Bowl down there in Dallas. By the way, before we get started, we're so tired of saying thoughts and prayers, but, sending love. We're just waiting, I guess, to see how bad the latest situation. Another day, another tragic event down there in Nashville, Tennessee, where our super producer, Cole Glotzer, is located. But Antioch High School had another school shooting. So, man, we just feel for the families. It's a parent's worst nightmare. I want to acknowledge that, man, in case you didn't see that. But, that's why we're here. We're here to take our minds off of things and keep it positive and keep it uplifting. And I mentioned I'm no longer with the Edmonton Elks. We're bringing back the weekly draft show. But quite honestly, we used to have a daily show. I really like to get that out to the masses. So, hey, if you're a producer, executive, network, you want to take this to another level, we'd love to get this show out to the masses, because what we're about to do is bang you and bop you over the head with NFL draft analysis and information that you can't find anywhere else. Quite frankly, nobody's giving you this amount of NFL draft information, and we're going to condense it into the next hour of power. Woo! I am Rick Saratella here, reporting live from New Jersey. We're down in the single digits. Are you out there with me feeling frigid? It's really cold out there. Where are you? What's the temperatures? Let me know where you're checking in from. We love getting interactive in the comments section, wherever you're streaming in, Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I think we got it going on a couple different platforms and channels out there. Oh, baby. We're going to do national championship, Stardust. The dust has settled. Where does a Will Howard and Riley Leonard settle in the draft equation? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the other draft risers from that. We also have a bushel of prospects from the Tropical Bowl last week. If you missed our live stream, we recapped the Caribe Royale Hula Bowl. Well, man, the Trillion Tropical Bowl, what a follow-up of just great looking prospects, some under the radar guys, some guys, dare I say, I've never heard of that have given me a lot to talk about here. We're going to get into that later on in the show, but I want to get into the big news announced today. A couple headlines I want to touch base on. And Cole, keep an eye out on the NFL portal, which is the offseason hot stove. John Spytek from Tampa Bay has been named the new general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders, the de facto GM, the understudy, the co-commander, the Robin to the Batman, shall we say. We all know Tom Brady's calling the shots in Vegas. So this is great for Spytek. He gets the GM title, which, is something that any aspiring scout or front office executive personnel guy wants to have. He's been instrumental there with Jason Licht down in Tampa Bay. I remember we gave Inside the League, our guy Neil Stratton awarded Jason Licht the NFL GM of the Year a couple years ago. John Spytek that was the COVID year. We did it on a Zoom awards presentation. John Spytek also part of that call. So he has a relationship there with Tom Brady. You're seeing Brady go with somebody he's familiar with, has a relationship with, won a Super Bowl with. So John Spytek, now the new GM of the Las Vegas Raiders, after losing out on the golden boy, Ben Johnson. And, I'm going to be honest here. I think Tom Brady dodged the bullet. Sometimes, and I said this on the Sports Rage last night, Sirius XM 159 every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Get locked and loaded for that. But I said it last night. Like, sometimes the best deals you make are the ones you don't make. And to me, to pay Ben Johnson over $15 million a year, that's a little rich for my liking, for a guy who is so into himself that he's going to dive deep down into those bag of tricks in that playoff game. And quite frankly, I thought Ben Johnson was a reason why the Lions lost that playoff game. And I think, he was kind of on the big stage, national platform. Everybody's tuned in. Hey, look at me. Look at all the tricks I can do. Look at all the chicanery and stuff I've been drawing up in the laboratory. It's like, no, dude, like, how about we win this playoff game? Buckle up. So Ben Johnson, he goes to the Chicago Bears. He says, hey, Caleb Williams played a big role in his decision. Good luck to you. This is about the third or fourth signal caller now Caleb Williams will have going into his second season. Never a good formula for success. Not saying that Caleb Williams can't overcome that. It's just, again, you look at the track record, the history of successful quarterbacks, it usually involves stability and continuity. And Caleb Williams has had none of that during his brief one-year stint with the Chicago Bears. Hopefully, Ben Johnson can turn that around. We shall see. But to give a guy like that $15 to $25 million a year, we don't really know how much he's getting paid, but it's in that ballpark. And I don't know, man. I look at some of these hirings like, what if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan right now? You just lost your defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, arguably the best defensive coordinator in the league, because the Bengals don't want to pay their coaches. Bengals don't want to pay their assistants, so he goes laterally to the Colts. You lose an assistant coach, maybe the best defensive coordinator. He takes the same position in Indianapolis. I mean, what are we splitting here? How much more could he possibly be making? I don't care if it's $2 million more. This is the National Football League. You guys make billions of dollars. Stop squeezing pennies over there, Mike Brown and the Cincinnati Bengals. Come on, son. What are we doing? You just let Lou Anarumo walk out the door? Like, are you kidding me? I know we do it with the players over there in Cincinnati all the time, but like, what kind of message, if I'm a Bengals defensive player and I'm a free agent, like, what kind of message are you sending? It's okay. You guys didn't even, I don't think you were even good enough to make the playoffs anyway, but man, just what a debacle. What a debacle, man. And Mike Soriano, he brought the heat last week, and I love the questions, and it gets me into my next topic. Tennessee Titans new general manager Mike Borgonzi. Hey, Mikey, you're invited to the dinner table on Sunday. Michael Borgonzi, he said something funny. Funny how? Like a comedian, the Titans, he said, will not hesitate to take a generational talent. Whoa. Let me read the tea leaves here and break it down for you. Again, the new Titans GM said, we're not going to hesitate to take a generational talent. Whoa. Hey, remix. That's serious, because when you say something like that, there's really just one generational talent in this draft, and that's Travis Hunter. Okay. So what you're telling me, Mikey, is that maybe with the number 1 overall pick, you'll take Travis Hunter? Or are you driving up the price for the number 1 overall pick? But Mikey Soriano poses a good question. Justin Fields or Shedeur Sanders? And I'm going to pose a more interesting question after a quick commercial break when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. That's what we call a little bit of a tease. But what I'm about to hit you with and what we're about to get into with Mikey's question is going to really have ripple effects when it comes to the NFL offseason, free agency, available quarterbacks, and the trickle-down effect when it comes to the NFL draft. We're going to talk about it, be about it right after this. I'm going to take a quick break. In the place to be, checking in from Orlando. We just touched down. Guess who I ran into? My guy Sean Stellato.
I was out here hitchhiking for a ride, and my fellow paisan said, "Hey, come with me. I'll take you places."
We're going places. We're going to the Tropical Hula Bowl, but it's not without a journey from Boston to Jersey to Orlando. I mean, we got third world country problems on the flights.
Like 6 hours. I sat on the terminal, sat on the whatever, the jetway, whatever you freaking call the thing, for 3 hours. And they brought over some stale pretzels. Not even biscotti or espresso.
They asked me if I want a drink. I said, I'll take a coffee. They said, that'll be $4.99.
So once I found Paisan was here, I brought him a coffee.
Look at that. We got the hookup. We're heading to practice. Stay tuned. Keep it locked. We got names you need to know.
Yes, we do. And we got a special guest that's about to do something epic on the diving board.
Oh, wait. We're coming. Mike Corte, we're coming.
Mike Corte.
Yo.
You are going to do the not 1, 2, 3 dips up off the diving board to cannonball. Rodney Dangerfield style. Yes, and that's gonna make a complete splash.
And we're Tropical Bowl. We're making splashes. We're down here in Orlando. Keep it locked, everybody. Hey, there we go. All right, so in the place to be, Rick Saratella checking in with another edition of this all-access football NFL draft cast live stream show on this Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025. Where are you buckled in from right now? We're here in New Jersey. We're getting set for the East-West Shrine Bowl. We're going to be down there at the Senior Bowl. You saw my good friend Sean Stellato there. We had fun down at the Tropical Bowl. Ran into all kinds of the individuals from the football community, and we were razzing Mike Corte a little bit about having him do a little bit of cannonball over there at the Orlando Delta Orlando Hotel. What a great spot. Thanks for having us, by the way. And we've got an interview up on the website over at allaccessfootball.com with Michael Corte, the executive director of the Tropical Bowl. I'm going to be talking about my Tropical Bowl risers at the end of this broadcast. And in fact, I had a chance to talk to Sean Stellato, who's got a book out, and Netflix is going to be making a movie of it. The same executive producer from the guy who brought you Rudy, is making a movie from Sean Stellato's book. So shout out to him. Tommy Cutlets, who knows what's going to happen? I think he's a free agent. Will he stay in the Meadowlands? Let's talk some quarterbacks, because before the break, we mentioned, speaking of Paisans, Mike Borgonzi, who, by the way, was with the Kansas City Chiefs for like the past 16 years, knows a thing or two about winning, but he said, we're not going to hesitate to take a generational talent. And to me, that says Travis Hunter is the only generational talent that I see in this year's NFL draft. If there's another guy, please enlighten me. Love to hear from you, chat room. You're too quiet out there, but is there another generational talent that you see out there not named Travis Hunter? Please let me know. But to me, that says what? That says Travis Hunter to the Titans. So let me ask you this, and I'm going to get to Mike Soriano's question in the chat room. But if you're the Tennessee Titans, let me ask you this. Would you rather have your choice, Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, or a generational talent, which I know gets tossed around way too often, but Travis Hunter fits that description? Would you rather have Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, or Travis Hunter and, dare I say, Aaron Rodgers? Or Travis Hunter and Sam Darnold? I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of discussions going on inside the war room right now. And it's an interesting question, isn't it? Because to me, like, when I see Aaron Rodgers, what he did in the second half of the season, he was coming off a horrific injury. He came back rather fast from that injury, and there was some rust in the first half of the season, and there was, a lot of disruption in and outside of the building there in Florham Park, New Jersey. But what if I told you that Aaron Rodgers played some pretty good football down the stretch for the Jets, but it was buried. It was buried below a losing franchise that had meaningless games with nothing left to play for. But that might be that might get Mike Vrabel rocking and rolling, like you saw the turnaround the Commanders just made. Like, give Mike Vrabel a competent quarterback and Travis Hunter. Those are two pretty good building blocks to have. Okay, some of you guys out there might like a Sam Darnold. Me personally, like, Darnold is going to Darnold when it's all said and done under the pressure. But to me, that's an interesting comment. It could just be a way of driving up the price to a team like the New York Giants, make them maybe commit some additional future first-round picks. Tennessee, if they could stay inside the top 3 or 4 picks, maybe they still land a Travis Hunter. But Mike Soriano, Paisan, in the chat room, it's what's going on. He poses the question that another thing that teams have to decide upon is Justin Fields, who, by the way, to me, is the best free agent quarterback available. Yeah, I said it. Better than Sam Darnold, better than Russell Wilson. If there's one free agent quarterback I want to build around, it's Justin Fields. He was winning before Russell Wilson with that Pittsburgh Steelers team. And I think his skill set really translates well to the NFL. He needs to be developed a little bit more as a more consistent passer, but I saw a reminiscence of that towards the latter part of his career in Chicago. And he took a Chicago team, a less talented Bears team, I shall say. 2 years ago, he guided them to a 7-10 record. I don't know the Bears record off the top of my head right now, what it was this season. I know it was terrible. It was atrocious. And Ryan Day has no business being the decision maker to hire the one Ben Johnson. And I think this is a train heading on a wrong way track. But I don't want to digress too much because the question is Justin Fields or Shedeur Sanders. And Justin Fields, I know somewhat what I'm getting. A guy who can win games in the National Football League. Now, ironically enough, both of these guys are gutsy, tough as hell competitors. They both absorb a lot of hits. Okay, I think I would give the decision-making edge to Shedeur Sanders. Accuracy, decision-making to Shedeur. Arm strength probably slightly to Justin Fields. Scrambling ability to Fields. Okay, but you're more down the road in the progression. I would say this. Depending on where I pick, if I'm, say, the Cleveland Browns, who I know Shedeur Sanders does not want to play for, then I'm all in on a Justin Fields, right? Deshaun Watson, nice knowing you. See you later. So I think just like any other player, it depends on situation and circumstance. But if I'm Cleveland, yes, give me Justin Fields all day. If I'm the New York Giants, give me Shedeur Sanders because I want to roll the dice on the upside. I think Shedeur Sanders gives you more upside. Sanders, to me, is one of those guys who will go on and have a better pro career than he did a college career because he's actually going to have some protection. He might actually have a running back to hand it off to. And, should he actually slide down to the Raiders, who I think are picking 7th or 8th, wouldn't it be fascinating? Wouldn't it be fascinating to see him land there with a running back, such as a Ashton Genty, who I think is a top 10 pick? So I think there's going to be a trickle-down effect, musical chairs, so to speak. Also, Minnesota could franchise a Sam Darnold. That would throw a monkey wrench into the equation. Okay. But if you're an NFL quarterback needy team, the outlook is bleak because, as we just mentioned, your options are Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold, dare I say Jameis Winston, if you want to go on that roller coaster ride. You want to roll the dice on a Jimmy Garoppolo and take him out of the coffin? Or you want to go with the upside and Shedeur Sanders? I think if I'm looking to win now, it's Justin Fields. If I'm looking for the long term, it's Shedeur Sanders. And I do believe in Shedeur. I don't want to waver here. I think he is a top 10 pick. I think he's the top quarterback. I think Shedeur Sanders can turn an organization around. And I love that he calls out the media and holds them accountable. And I love the accountability he brings inside the locker room. So he's a true leader. He's gutsy as hell. He might not have the strongest arm, but he doesn't turn the ball over. And he's been playing with, I know he's had some weapons there at wide receiver, but he's had no run game and no offensive line. What's that look like at the next level? Sky's the limit. Don't love the size. He's like 6'1" and change, 6'1" and 2/8, but I can live with that. Okay. Another question is Jackson Dart or Quinn Ewers? This one is a good one because to me, the best ability to any player, but most importantly to your quarterback, the best ability is your availability. And Quinn Ewers, on any given week, they say any given Sunday, shout out to our guy Upton Bill, but any given week, Quinn Ewers has an injury. He popped up on the injury report every single week. And, it's just too much for me. And I can't sleep easy at night. I can't rest my head on the pillow with ease. Not that I ever will, Rick, but I can't sleep at night peacefully knowing that Quinn Ewers is my guy. I'm not taking Quinn Ewers to be my starter. If I can get him on day 2 and develop him to be my backup, he could be a pretty good guy, pretty good quarterback to come in and hold down the fort. I'm just not building a franchise around Quinn Ewers. Jackson Dart, listen, I want, I picked Jackson Dart to win the Heisman. I had Ole Miss to go all the way. I had such high expectations for the Rebels, and so maybe I'm just I got a sour taste in my mouth. Like every time Jackson Dart was in a big game spot, had an opportunity to really like raise some eyebrows and take charge. He just fell up short, and that frustrates me. It's the same characteristic that I saw in Will Levis at Kentucky. Like when we needed a big play, when the game was on the line, when we needed to put the team on your back, you just didn't deliver, young man. It bothers me. And, since I said Will Levis, it amazes me. Liam Cohen, this guy is a modern day thief. I mean, how did he become a hot commodity? Liam Cohen, the guy that was so atrocious, he was fired after Will Levis' final season in Kentucky. They fired Liam Cohen. He went over to the Rams for a season with this guy, Sean McVay. And after a year in LA, McVay said, yo, thank you, but no thank you. Go back where you came from. They sent him back, I think, to Kentucky. Where is he now? Tampa Bay. Just gave him an extension. Jacksonville actually interviewed him for the head coaching job. What a joke Jacksonville is, by the way. And I got friends who work over there, so I apologize in advance for saying the things I'm about to say, but Rick is keeping it real. Those guys, the Cons, those wrestler guys, I mean, these people have no concept, no idea about football. And I know people who've interviewed there, and like the questions that come up during the interview process have nothing to do with football. I mean, it's a joke down there in Jacksonville. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. But the fact that Robert Saleh might wind up as your head coach, I mean, what else do you need to know about the lack of vision and dysfunction going on in Jacksonville? I want to get to my Tropical Bowl. An hour of power is just too short, man. We might have to expand the show. But hey, real quick here, a couple things. What's going on over at the website? Well, we've got all of our Tropical Bowl coverage. I'm going to tell you about some risers at the end of the show. We got our top 10 by position. We got our overall big board. We got our underclassmen tracker, 70 guys declared for the draft this year. And we got our NFL draft headquarters page over at allaccessfootball.com. Tomorrow night, Thursday, we're going to have a scouting seminar workshop with Brian Baldinger. These are going to be in-depth film sessions, Q&A sessions. If you're into scouting, if you want to learn about the X's and O's, myself, Brian Baldinger, this is going to be a monthly thing that we do. It's part of the All Access Football subscription package, right? We send out all of our content for free. But if you subscribe, you get a copy of the 2025 NFL Draft Bible. We're going to have over 500 players. The way it's going, we might have close to 1,000 scouting reports there. And then you get access to our monthly scouting seminars. Every month, we're going to be breaking it down. This Thursday, we're going to be breaking down the college football playoff national championship game, highlighting some of the top players there. I want to talk about some of that today as well. But, it's $25 for the month or $250 for the year. You get 12 seminars, you get the draft Bible package. And, listen, that's how we survive, right? That's how we're able to travel back and forth from Jersey to Florida to Dallas to Mobile, bringing you all this coverage on location across the nation and great intel. And that's how we can tell you about guys like Keandre from Illinois State that we're going to talk about. Keandre Jackson, we mentioned him down at the Hula Bowl. He got called up to the Senior Bowl now. How about that? Path to the draft. Huh? You're going to make some splash plays, string together some strong practices down there in Orlando. Next thing you know, Jim Nagy's calling you to come play out of Illinois State. The Redbirds. Woo-doo! Hey, shout out to Keandre. But my point is, hey, we're not on mainstream anymore. We used to be on Sports Illustrated. I'm not with the Edmonton Elks. I'm out here independently. And sometimes with my guy, Brian Baldinger, Cole Glotzer, and Jarrett Regal behind the scenes. But it's a small knit group bringing you all this information. Like, you go to the website, allaccessfootball.com, you won't find any more draft intel. So if you're able to subscribe, if you're able to support, we appreciate you. If not, sign up for free. Get all of our daily content. It's been about daily, just about since I left my gig with the Edmonton Elks. So, hey, And listen, we want to take this show. I want to take this show daily. I want to take it to the masses. So if you're out there and you work for another network, another platform, and we can take this thing to the next level. I see 650 people tuned in. We should have 650,000 people tuned in right now. And, Mikey Soriano in the comments, Mina Kimes, we could do a collaboration. Sure. Hello. What's up, Oceana? You good? I'm on the air. You good? You good? What do you need? I'm just looking for a book. All right, no problem. Hey, RIC in the place to be. Rick Saratella, tell them like it is. So Jackson Dart or Quinn Ewers, to me, give me Jackson Dart. Dual threat capability. Disappointing, but I still can believe. I can still try to mold it and shape it and form it. A lot of experience. He can make all the throws now, and he went out with a banger that bowl game. Talk about a statement. There's something to be said about making a final lasting impression. That is Jackson Dart. One last one. Will Anderson or James Pierce? I'll take Will Anderson all day. It's the intangibles for me. It's the leadership. It's the first one in, last one out of the building. They say, CJ Stroud gets all the credit, but Will Anderson, believe it or not, is the guy that's really between DeMeco Ryans and Will Anderson. They've really set the tone inside that locker room in terms of accountability and just demonstrating what it takes to be a winner. Okay, so I like Will Anderson. James Pierce, I'm not even sure he'll be the first edge rusher off the board. You got Abdul Carter. You got some other guys that are pretty interesting as well. The Georgia boys, Michael Williams, Jelon Walker, they're pretty athletic and bendy as well. So we'll see how that pans out. But let's see how much time we have. We'll take another break at 4:15. Were we supposed to take a 4 o'clock break? We just talked right through it. Hey, get on board, buckle up, allaccessfootball.com. Let's wrap up some of the front office shenanigans, and then if I have time, we'll get into some college football playoff Stardust. The dust has settled. Who were some winners and risers? And, I will be at the Senior Bowl, guys. We'll be on. Me and Brian Baldinger will be at the Senior Bowl. We'll be at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Mikey Soriano, do you even pay attention? You ask questions? Do you even listen to the answers? I just said we're going to be down there streaming live on location, buddy. All right, come on. How about Brian Schottenheimer interviewing with the Dallas Cowboys? By the way, I love the interaction. I love getting interactive with all of our listeners, wherever you're streaming in from. How about Brian Schottenheimer in Dallas? Son of Marty Ball? Huh? I don't know. It's interesting. Like, you hear that the Cowboys did not have a backup plan. Mike McCarthy basically gave him the double middle finger salute and said, see you later. And you hear that the Cowboys didn't have a backup plan, and it's kind of starting to show when Brian Schottenheimer is becoming the leading candidate. It could still be Kellen Moore, who called plays there once before, of course, with Philadelphia now. Mike Vrabel, he brought in Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator. I like that move. I don't really like Josh McDaniels personally, especially how he handled that Indianapolis Colts gig. McDaniels, though, is a great coordinator. He's familiar in New England. He's going to have a comfort level there, and I think he will work really well with Drake May. And if Josh McDaniels is committed to being a coordinator and a mentor and Drake May's best friend, I think that could work. Now, Terrell Williams, the Detroit Lions, I think defensive line coach, is also going to come over as the Patriots defensive coordinator. So the Lions now, they're losing Ben Johnson as their OC. They're losing Aaron Glenn, who is now going to the Jets with Lance Newmark as their GM, coming over from DC, which is interesting. And the Lions now lose Terrell Williams, who would have been their next in line to be the successor to Aaron Glenn as their defensive coordinator, but now he goes to New England. So we talk about continuity. You wonder, was that the Lions' window? Is that window now shut from the last 2 years where they had a real good shot of getting into the Super Bowl? And now you start to lose the continuity of all your assistants, there's a mass exodus currently transpiring out of Motown. And the Lions are going to have to giddy up and replace all these guys now. Okay. But, a couple other guys. The Falcons hired Jeff Ulbrich, who was the interim head coach of the New York Jets, in case you missed that one. Tommy Rees gets the promotion in Cleveland as the new offensive coordinator there. And Kevin O'Connell gets extended in Minnesota. Teams were actually inquiring about a trade. Come on. So that's all the front office shenanigans. If something else transpires before we go off the air, let us know. Question in the chat room was Will Levis, were we a fan? Absolutely not. Jaguars fire Trent Baalke. Thank you, Cole. GM Trent Baalke gone. Okay. So there you go. I just told you what a clown show it was down there in Jacksonville. Here we are on January 22nd. And we just figured out now we're going to fire the GM. I guess the head coaching search wasn't going too well. Maybe they were listening to the show about how I found it just laughable that Liam Cohn and Robert Saleh are your two leading candidates. April's not for another 3 months at least. So Trent Baalke's out the door. Another GM opening. Hey, guys. Call me. Maybe. Hey. All right, seeing a place to be. Rick Saratella. Let's switch it up to the College Football Playoff National Championship here before we take our last and final break. And we'll come back with all the Tropical Bowl risers. And I mean, guys, these are some serious names you need to know when it comes to the 2025 NFL Draft. Last year, we brought you Levi Drake Rodriguez, who ended up getting selected in the 7th round by the Minnesota Vikings. A handful of guys who have a chance to hear their name called. We're going to talk about that on the back end of the break. But real quickly, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, two quarterbacks who will be down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. And I don't think anybody improved their draft stock more than Will Howard. I agree with our buddy Jim Nagy. I saw him tweet that out. I agree wholeheartedly. I think day 2, top 50. I'm thinking about Will Howard. I'm thinking about Will Howard as a guy, could be a good backup, kind of like a Mason Rudolph maybe, okay, if you like that kind of party. But Riley Leonard, I got to say, I like him more. I like Riley Leonard more. I like his skill set and how it translates to modern-day NFL offenses. And if you need him to put his head down and run the ball 15, 20 times, he can do that. If you need him to dink and dunk and work the short to intermediate parts of the field and drive you down the field like that opening drive, what was it, an 18-play drive he orchestrated, he can do that. And I like that. And this guy's smart. He's cerebral. Obviously played at Duke. He can make all the throws. He's limited downfield. He doesn't have great arm strength. But how many deep balls are you really taking in an NFL game? And I think Riley Leonard is a guy who, like Charlie Whitehurst, you remember Touchdown Jesus? He could go on and have a decade-long career in the National Football League, that Riley Leonard. And I'm looking forward to seeing him down there. He's a guy that I think, we always say the alpha males, the leaders, the cream rises to the top in these all-star game showcases. Now, I'm looking at Riley Leonard to do that at the Senior Bowl. Now, Quinshon Judkins, this guy was shot out of a cannon, 3 touchdowns in the national championship, 6 touchdowns in the college football playoff. You saw him take a pass there, a bubble screen pass, slip a tackler, ticket for a touchdown. This guy can run. He can catch, and he can knock you on your ass. Like, this guy blocks his ass off. That Quinshon Judkins, I think, I kind of had him as a mid-round pick. After watching him do his thing, I think he's another guy now in that top 50 equation conversation. And I'll tell you what, coming into the national championship game, Jack Sawyer was a guy where I was like, man, this guy, I love this man. I want him to play for me. And then JT Tuamalu, he comes out and has a huge game in the national championship, a bunch of sacks, tackles for loss. So the edge rushers, Ohio State won that game because they kept their players in-house. 16 graduated starters. And most of all of those guys, like a J2T Talamalu, Jack Sawyer, these guys were in-house. Now, Junkins came over from Ole Miss. Howard came over from Kansas State. There's some guys they added to the transfer portal, but you got to like how Ohio State did it. I've been very critical of Ryan Day. Hats off to you, and congratulations. I will say one last note. How about Jeremiah Smith for Ohio State and Jaden Greenhouse for Notre Dame? Two guys we'll keep an eye on for the future drafts. But Jack Kaiser, Senior Bowl, he's headed to Mobile. He accepts the invitation. So after going through, what is it, a 14, 15 game schedule, not even a week's worth of rest, he's going to go down to Mobile for the Senior Bowl. Looking forward to that. By the way, I don't think there is a single player in this year's NFL draft that's played more special team snaps than Jack Kaiser, 996, I believe. So how about that? Okay. If you didn't know that, just wait till about the information we hit you with when we come back from our last commercial break. It's been an hour of power. Time is flying by. I was down there at the Tropical Bowl getting into it with the scouting community. I've got a laundry list of names that we're going to review right after the break. Shout out to Camden, New Jersey. Where are you checking in from? We'll be back right after this. Hey, RIC in the place to be, wrapping up day 2 national practice here at the 10th annual Trillion Tropical Bowl with my guy, Emery Hunt. Sorry, the football playbook. Emery, give me 2 winner standouts from today's practice.
Jordan Bly, number 1, a wide receiver from Gardner Webb. Dre Bly's son, but this dude has been outstanding for 2 days. Today he had some tremendous catches. Also, wide receiver Colin Brunstein from Illinois College Division III program. He was out there catching everything thrown his way. Those 2 receivers to me really stood out today, and players in whole that had really great days.
All they do is win. The one-on-ones are on. Great platform, great showcase. I'm going to give you one more guy for all my Jersey people out there. Number 96, Arnold Young out of Montclair. Keep an eye on this young man. He was winning some reps. I'm looking for him to do some things in that game tomorrow, which will be broadcast at the Tropical Bowl website. And guess who's calling that game?
Bang! Yours truly, man.
Emery Hunt. Tune in, get the live stream, go there. He's going to give you the lowdown and the nitty-gritty on all the guys as the action's going on. And then, of course, allaccessfootball.com, the draft coverage rolls on. And, of course, CBS Sports headquarters, where Emery Hunt breaks it down. Everything football, baby. Buckle up.
Cover it all.
Hey, stay tuned. Hey, I mean, who's got the NFL draft flowing through their veins more than this guy. Rick Saratella, RIC in the place to be, checking in from the Jersey Shore. We are bringing you everything NFL draft. We've been covering NFL front office shenanigans. We just talked about the college football playoff national championship. The Stardust has fallen. That young man, Jack Kaiser, is going down there to Mobile for the Senior Bowl. And also Keandre Jackson, somebody who we highlighted down at the Hula Bowl in Orlando, Illinois State, the Redbirds, is getting an invitation to the Senior Bowl. Congratulations to that young man. And that's why we bring you the names you need to know. First, since 2002, you can see the gray hairs. Some of you who have followed me for the last 2 decades are coming in. We call it wisdom. We're going to provide the intel, the knowledge, the 2025 NFL Draft Bible. It'll be the best investment you ever make if you're a fan of the NFL Draft. We're going to have scouting reports on all the players from the Hula Bowl, Tropical Bowl, Shrine Bowl, where we'll be next week in Dallas, of course, the Senior Bowl, and the 70 underclassmen who declared. And guys like the Montclair State pass rusher, my God, that guy just won all of his one-on-one reps all week long, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow in the All Access Football newsletter that goes out. Make sure you're signed up. I did the Tropical Bowl team, and so the talent was in the trenches. I just mentioned his name in the promo. The talent was in the trenches. He didn't make the All Tropical Bowl team. That's how star-studded the trenches were. So we're going to run through some names that you should know. And there was an influx of talent. So before the Tropical Bowl, that our guy Emery Hunt did a great job calling the color commentary, by the way, there was the Stardom scrimmage. And the Stardom scrimmage featured players that weren't in the Tropical Bowl. And this Taylor Ergelsma from Wilfrid Laurier, all my Canadian Football League fans will be familiar with this name. Elgersma from Wilfrid Laurier, 6'4", 213 pounds. He was the best quarterback in attendance, period. Yeah, I hate to say it that way. He was. And so after the scrimmage, there was a handful of teams lined up, the 49ers, the Giants, a bunch of NFL teams were meeting with him for a long time. And now he projects as a first-round pick for the CFL draft, but I think he's going to get a chance at the NFL level to stick around and hang out for a little bit. Also in the scrimmage, Chris Houston out of Chattanooga, 5'9", 170-pound wideout, definitely generated a little bit of a buzz for himself down there in the scrimmage as well. So just another guy to monitor. But in terms of winners, big-time winners, you heard Emery Hunt say Jordan Bly, son of Dre Bly, out of North Carolina. Remember him? 5'9", 170, a little bit light. But this Gardner-Webb wide receiver was just burning dudes. I mean, talk about toast out there on the practice field. There was a lot of it left in the path of the one Jordan Bly. I mean, he was just borderline unguardable all week long. You saw a lot of Suns NFL bloodlines. Mushin Muhammad III was out there. I don't think he's going to go very far in the NFL. Poor performance. But Chuck Smith, son out of Villanova, was down there. Chuck Smith IV. You saw a lot of NFL bloodlines, but Jordan Bly definitely stood out. And we talked about Montclair State. You're saying, Rick, you're always showing Jersey so much love. You're biased, man. Yeah, you're just talking about these guys from their because they're from Jersey. Well, I gotta admit, one of the more embarrassing moments of my career, talking to an NFL scout, and this kid, this kid's making plays all week long, right in my backyard. Okay, how embarrassing! How embarrassing! I don't know about him. The scout turns to me and says, "Man, the College of New Jersey tight end looks the part." And he's just like, yo, he's just killing it, crushing it. There's a buzz now. Everybody's talking about him. And the scout turns to me and says, Rick, College of New Jersey, that's your backyard. What you got on him? Man, oh my God. Talk about embarrassing. I didn't know too much about him. I really didn't. And that, that deserves a shout out for John Perez, because that's his client, John Perez, who puts together the small school D3 New Jersey small. But hey, that's why we go to these events, to discover guys like Thomas Burke, who played at the College of New Jersey, 6'4", 247 pounds. He's a pass catching weapon. And sometimes you just got to go to Orlando to discover talent that's in New Jersey. Unbelievable. But yeah, it was humbling to say the least, but it just goes to show we're constantly learning. We're constantly striving to improve and be better. And that's why we're doing the scouting seminar tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Buckle up with that. Brian Baldinger will be breaking down the college football playoff national championship top prospects. If you want to get on board, go to allaccessfootball.com. But by that Thomas Burke took our breath away down there at the Tropical Bowl practices. How about Malcolm Lamar Sr. from FAU? 6'4", 318 pounds, and a 7'2". What? 7'2" wingspan. I mean, this guy's a human condor. I was talking to my guy Neil Stratton from inside the league. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. You're talking to me, but I got to go see my guy Malcolm Lamar Sr. He's got a 7'2" wingspan. He goes, man, that's pretty good. I said, pretty good? No, that's freaking incredible. And not only that, he was like the best mover out there. And, almost, I thought the best offensive player in attendance. How about that? Nate Williams, San Diego State, got a chance to meet him. Loved his game. My guy, Tacoby Cofield, was working with him a little bit on technique, coaching him up. How Tacoby Cofield is not employed right now as an offensive line coach is puzzling to me. But Nate Williams, San Diego State University, 6'5", 305. He was bendy. He was winning those one-on-ones. He was showing he can live on that island, that kick step, that lateral side-to-side movement. He's got enough bend, I think, to survive. Projects as a swing tackle at the next level, backup swing tackle, that Nate Williams, San Diego State University. He's going to be playing Sundays. Mark my words. Darius Washington from Florida State, 6'3", 314 pounds. Gotta love the versatility. He can play all 5 positions along the offensive line. I think he's going to fill in nicely as a interior swingman, somebody who could step in, play guard, play center. That's what NFL teams are looking for. They don't want to carry all these offensive linemen. They want a guy, a jackknife, who can play all 3. If you're going to be a backup, make sure the more you can do, the more valuable you are. Darius Washington out of Florida State. Keep an eye on him. DeJuan Black, that was the name of the week. DeJuan Black was the best player there. 6'4", 229. The transfer from Florida, finished up at Temple, just killed it. Killed it. Talent-wise, top player, was suspended earlier in the season, had some academic issues, has some questions to answer off the field. DeJuan Black, though, man, you talk about pedigree, you talk about frame, you talk about speed to power, quickness, explosion off the line. I like DeJuan Black, what he's talking about. Now, John Pius is another guy who came over from William & Mary, finished up at Wisconsin. I like the bend, 6'2", 235, maybe not quite the same kind of length, but I think he's a practice squad kind of potential, that John Pius. Nano Osafu Mensah. You talk about length at a TCU. He's got length for days. Again, one of these guys that just had a great reach and had a ton of production, tackles for loss, behind the line of scrimmage. I'm intrigued to see where he goes. And then Kiwi Rose from Arkansas. Eric Gregory is the guy that gets all the attention there. He got the East-West Shrine Bowl invite. But you could see Rose played at Arkansas for a reason. SEC pedigree. He stood out amongst the defensive linemen. And sometimes when you're in that SEC defensive line rotation, your numbers don't really jump out on the stat page. And that's why you just got to go there and shake the tree leaves and see these guys in person, see how they move. Now, another guy, MJ Sherman, the linebacker, finishes up at Nebraska, 6'2", 247, 5-star who began at Georgia. Man, you could just see the athleticism, the agility, the lateral movement is just on a different level. You notice that stuff. And, one other guy out of Louisville, MJ Griffin, the defensive back, safety, slot, cover man, flipping the hips, the footwork. MJ Griffin looking good, looking real good out there at the Trillion Tropical Bowl. So the dust is now settling on that event. We shall see if any players get the call up. DeJuan Black, Malcolm Lamar, certainly worthy. And guys, you're like Jordan Bly, exciting. Taylor L. Gersma from Wilfrid Laurier, a lot of attention. And so that's the Tropical Bowl recap. Of course, last week, if you missed our live stream, we broke down the Hula Bowl recap. We were down there on location, and we're getting ready, man, to depart the cold of the Jersey Shore and enter the frigidness. Did I see snow down there in Dallas? Big law. Yes, it's that season again. You're going to see me talking NFL draft. And again, anybody tuning in and stumbling across the channel, there's almost 1,000 people tuned in live. Let's get it to 1 million, can we? If you want to take I'm willing to go daily. I'll go every day if that's what it takes. That's what we want to do and build this thing up. But as for now, we'll be back next week with another edition. Our guy Brian Baldinger will be holding it down with us down there in Mobile we'll do a Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl recap, a doubleheader. They're going Thursday. Senior Bowl is February 1st on a Saturday. East-West Shrine will be a couple days before that on a Thursday. We'll be down there breaking it all down, bringing you the standouts, the risers, the sliders, the surprisers. And we didn't get to too many sliders on this show, but there were some of those too. And that's why you just got to go and get the draft Bible. We break it down that, I can only get back to so many. Hey, Rick, how did this guy look? Hey, how did so-and-so do? Hey, who were the best quarterbacks? Well, go to allaccessfootball.com, get the 2025 NFL Draft Bible. We're going to have scouting reports on all these guys. 169, I think, we're down at the Tropical Bowl, like 145 at the Hula Bowl. Probably another 300 guys between the Senior and Shrine Bowls. Then you got the 70 underclassmen. We're going to have it all in that 2025 NFL Draft Bible. Go to allaccessfootball.com. Don't forget, we got the scouting seminar tomorrow night. There was a question in the chat room. Where does Jack Kaiser go? Early day 3, I believe, round 4, round 5, somewhere in that mix. Please, if you have any questions for our live stream next week, drop us a line at NFL Draft Bible. We're streaming across X and Facebook and Instagram, hopefully. Shout out to our guy Cole Glotzer holding it down there in Nashville. We shall see what comes of today's tragic events in this country. But there's a new sheriff in town. Hopefully things change for the better. I know one thing, we will do better next week. One other plug I want to give before we wrap things up. NFL Draft Bible Consulting, All Access Football Consulting. My guy Mook Williams, former NFL PA certified agent. He's retired now, but we have helped various agents and leagues and teams and trainers and financial advisors. If you're looking to take your business to the next level, if you need help in recruiting and just really want to save a lot of time and money and energy and effort, we can do that for you. My email is ric@allaccessfootball.com. We're taking all inquiries, and this is our 24th season of NFL draft coverage. We're just getting started, 92 days away to destination Green Bay, and we will see you back right here next week with more names you need to know.